Okay, so you've reached that moment. The main work on your project is done. And the temptation, let's be honest, is to just pack up and move on to the next big thing. But what if I told you that the most critical, value-creating part of your project actually happens after the work stops? We're going to look at project closure not as an administrative chore, but as a strategic finish, a powerful process to lock in the value you created, free up your best people, and build a much smarter organization for the future.
Here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down the principle, why you absolutely can't skip formal closure. Then, we'll get into the details of the preparation and the process. After that, we'll look at the payoff, the real tangible results. And we'll wrap up by exploring the legacy, how finishing one project the right way makes every future project even better. So let's start right here with this really fundamental question. Because if you look at how the best organizations operate, the answer is a very clear, very loud no. The work might be done, sure, but the project isn't really finished until its value is confirmed, its lessons are banked, and your team is officially freed up to go win the next one.
All right, so let's dig into that core principle. Closing a project isn't just about tidying up. Think of it as a crucial business activity. It's how you protect the massive investment you just made and how you directly fuel your company's growth engine.
Projects can end in one of two ways. On the left, you've got the project that just fizzles out. There's no clear finish line, people kind of drift away, the budget hangs around in this weird zombie state, and all that hard-won knowledge, poof, it just evaporates. It's organized chaos. But on the right, you see the PMBOK Guides approach, a sharp, clear finish line. People and money are formally released, the value you created is officially signed off on, and the project's wisdom is captured forever. It's really a choice between chaos and control. And when you do it right, this process delivers some huge benefits. You get an official record that says, yes, we are 100% done. You settle every last contract, which gets rid of any lingering financial risks. And maybe most importantly, you release your A-team to go crush the next priority. This isn't just about freeing up headcount, it's about redeploying your best talent with speed and purpose, all while getting a crystal clear read on how satisfied your stakeholders really are.
So, how do you actually get ready for a solid closure? Well, it all starts with assembling the project's dossier, basically collecting every document that tells the complete, fact-based story of the project, from that first spark of an idea to the final product. Think of these as the project's foundation. Your project charter? That's your contract. It spells out exactly what success looks like. The business case answers the big why. Did we actually solve the problem we set out to solve? Your agreements are the legal proof that all your vendors are paid and satisfied. And the accepted deliverables? Well, that's the ultimate prize. The formal sign-off from your customer that says, you did it, you delivered. And this is exactly why keeping meticulous records throughout the project is so important. These aren't just logs you fill out. They are the project's journal, the evidence that backs up your closure. The change log shows how you adapted. The issue log proves you solved every problem. The risk register tells the story of the dragons you slayed along the way. And that lessons learned register? That's the gold. That's the beginning of wisdom for the entire company, all backed by cold, hard data from your quality reports.
Okay, so we've got our dossier. Now we move into the analysis phase. This is the engine room, where we use specific tools and techniques to process all that info, make those final calls, and drive this project to a clean, logical conclusion. And a powerhouse tool here is variance analysis. Look, during the project, this helps you stay on track. But at the end, it's your final report card. How did we really do against our plan? Let's say you plan to launch an app in 6 months for 200 grand. Variance analysis shows it took 7 months and cost 225. But here's the key. It forces you to ask why. Was it because a key engineer quit? Or was it because our estimates for testing were just consistently off? See, that's the difference between knowing you were late and knowing how to be on time next time. The goal is never blame. It's about an honest, data-driven look in the mirror that makes every future project in the company better. Now, all of this analysis comes to a head in your closure meetings. And these need to be structured work sessions, not just ceremonies. The agenda is a series of critical gates. You formally confirm acceptance. You check off every single exit criterion from the charter. You settle all the bills. And, this is huge, you formally hand over the knowledge to the rest of the organization. And of course, you absolutely have to celebrate the team's success. It marks a real finish and gets everyone fired up for the next challenge. So after all this work, what's the big payoff? Well, it's not just about ending cleanly. It's about creating tangible outputs, real assets that keep delivering value long after the project team has moved on.
This is where your hard work really pays dividends. First up is the official handover. The project team built it, now the operations team owns it. This formal handoff creates clear accountability. It prevents your awesome new product from becoming an orphan that nobody supports. You know, a bad handoff means customer problems go unsolved, and all that value you created just withers away. A clean handover ensures the benefits are actually realized. The next major output is the final report. And listen, this is way more than a summary. This is the project's official history, the single source of truth. The cost section, for instance, isn't just about noting you went over budget, it's about giving the sales team the data they need to bid more profitably next time. The schedule section helps the whole organization get better at predicting timelines. It's a transparent account that directly levels up future performance. And finally, all your project documents get updated, but one is the absolute star of the show, the Lessons Learned Register. It gets polished into this incredibly rich source of intelligence. As the PMBOK guide points out, it covers everything from how accurate your business case was to how well you manage stakeholders. This isn't just a collection of notes, it's your project's wisdom, bottled and ready to be used.
And that leads us perfectly into the final and I'd argue the most strategic part of closing a project, creating a lasting legacy. This is all about turning one team's experience into the entire organization's enduring knowledge. You do this by updating something called Organizational Process Assets, or OPAs. Now, that's a formal term, but it's a simple idea. It's the company's collective brain. It's all your templates, your checklists, your knowledge bases. And here's the key insight. A truly great project doesn't just use these assets. It actively improves them for every single person who comes after. This right here is how you build a real learning organization. Yeah, you archive the final plans for reference, but the real magic happens when the refined wisdom from your project's Lessons Learned Register gets moved into the central Lessons Learned repository. You are taking one team's hard-won experience and making it available to everyone. You are literally feeding the organization's brain, systematically raising the company's IQ with every single project you complete.
And that, right there, is the ultimate reason this whole process matters so much. A strategic finish is never just about looking back at what you did. It is always an investment in the future. It's how you guarantee that every single project, whether it was a runaway success or a tough slog, makes your organization smarter, ensuring that the next one starts stronger, runs leaner, and finishes better than the last.